Okay, let's go. Okay, guys, let's get started. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Woohoo! Let's go. I'm gonna start over. Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this live. We're gonna be building the Giphy website. Okay, so let's get into it. Now we're gonna be using HTML. Oh, where's my mouse? HTML. Where should I? HTML, CSS, ReactJS, and for the Giphys, we're not going to be using some database. We're actually going to call the Giphy API. And I'm going to show you a trick with that. So, are you excited? I hope you are. Let's hear it in the chat. Awesome. I'm audible now. You guys can hear me. Awesome. Let's go. Okay, so I hope you're excited because this Giphy app, I mean, look at it. It looks so good, right, guys? We have 4 sections here, actually. We have the header at the top, we have the search container, and then we have the media area here, which contains of 4 sections, which is the trending section, the artist ones, the clips ones, and the stories ones, okay? And those require actually quite advanced CSS, so stay tuned, okay? And that said, let's go into it and make our app. Okay, so we're saying our terminal is open here on the right side, and I'm going to say npx create react app, and then you're going to give it the name of your app, right? So in this case, let's say Giphy YouTube spiritual coder, something like that. Okay, whatever you like. And while we wait for this, guys, go check out my GitHub, by the way. For those of you who haven't seen my Insta stories yet, go to my GitHub, and oh, Robin already did it. So go to my GitHub and git clone this repository, okay? The Giphy-sc-template. That way you have all the hex colors, you have some styling, you have resources I'm talking about, and the commands I'm going to be using to install some packages, okay? Just to make your life a little bit easier during this build and after you finish this live, okay? So, I hope you're excited. Awesome. Ready? Chelsea says ready. Dervesh, so many flames, so much support. Thank you guys for coming out. My first YouTube. So let's go, okay? It's gonna be a big build, so stay with me, okay? Now, yippee, we're done. So what you do now is you're gonna go into that repository that you just made, right? And as you can see, I have quite a few ones, but I think the one I said YT spiritual coder, and now I'm inside of that. So we're gonna start this one up, and we're gonna say npm start. Like this, okay? npm start, and then it's gonna come up. It's gonna come up. It went up to my other screen, so let me grab that for you. And hey, we got the React logo here. That means everything went well, okay? Something is already running on the other side. That is true. So this one, let's open that one up again, the code of it, and I'm gonna do that with a, let me make this bigger for you guys, like this, and say code period. It's an extension with Visual Studio Code. That way you can just open up the code like this, boom, pow, okay? And let's make this a little bit smaller, like this, and start with this. Okay, everybody here? Let me know. Amazing. Thank you, Creative Tutorials, for coming out. That's really cool. Hi, Martin. How you doing? Good to see you. Hi, Robin. Good to see you. So let's start at this, okay? So when you first open up a React app, you first want to start up with a cleanup, actually. That's what I always do. So everything that has the word test in it, that's what you're going to be removing. Okay, so here, app.test, delete it. Boom. And then here, setup test.js, delete it like this. And we're also in the app.js, there's a logo, and we don't need that logo, even though it's a really cool logo. We don't need that. Let's remove that. And let's remove all of this too. Make this app, and then H1, let's build the Giphy website like this. Boom. Okay, so let's remove this logo here as well. Delete. Now we have a nice clean app. Now that's for this side. Let's make the app.css, which is on this side. And you guys might notice I'm going a little bit faster to this setup because it's something you often see and you can always refer back to, but we have a lot to do. So let's get going. Here, I'm gonna remove all of this and I'm gonna say star or asterisk universal selector, okay? Margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing border box. Okay, and I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger because I know that otherwise you guys won't be able to see it like this. So this is like this, and then this I can make it bigger like that. This is visible, right, for everybody, very visible. Awesome. Is everybody here? Great. So if you save this, you will see this flatten out. It will go to the top. That's because by default, H1 always has a margin and a padding. But with this way, we will totally remove that. Okay, so it will flatten out your app and make it look really neat. Now, at the original Giphy here, you can see if I stretch this out, that it is in the middle of the app. That means it's actually the app, and then we have a main in the center of it. So let's put our content inside of that. Okay, so here we're going to say div class app, and then here we're going to say div class name is main. Okay, like this. Now, if I would have to, I always make things very visible, by the way, so we're going to be seeing a lot of colors in this build. Okay, so app, let's say, what's a nice color? I like the color purple. Does that surprise you? So purple. Let's say we give it a height of 100 VH. Wait, that won't work. But let's say we do this. And then let's say we have main, which is not as big as app, but main is, we're going to give that a width of 1100 pixel and a background color of teal, let's say, like this. Now, as you can see, if I stretch this out, it will stay at the 1100 pixel and it's not in the center. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna be using something called flexbox, okay? And it's always at the parent components. So here we're gonna say display flex, and then we're gonna say justify content center. Hey, does this look familiar? I think it does. So that's how you center something, okay? Let's go into here. Oh yeah, so if you have downloaded or git cloned the GitHub, let me show you again. If you have downloaded this, if you have installed it, go to here, GitHub, git clone this link. Okay, let me paste it inside of the comment. Go Lamb, thank you. Thank you for all the likes, guys, and the support. It's so wonderful you're all here. My first solo YouTube live. Let's make many more, okay? Let's go. So git clone this, because if you git clone this file, it is easy for you to grab and hold this. So what you always want to do when you start off an app, you want to have your styling quite global, the styling that you're always going to be using throughout the app, right? So here, body has a certain color, and all of the H1, the H2, and the paragraphs also have a certain font family and sizes that, you know, that we want to have, right? Because if we look at the app here, this is an H2, for example, but this is an H1, H1, H1. Okay, so that way it is easy to use that throughout the whole app. Let's get going. Now that we have this, let's remove those colors of this purple one and the green one. Okay, and we can see it's already moving a little bit. Okay, so also, by the way, the main part, we don't want it to touch the top, so we're gonna say margin top 15 pixels. Boom, like that. It's hard to see because it was dark, but it moved a little bit downwards. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start with the header. Who's excited? Because the header, it looks awesome. If I may say so myself. Look at this, guys. Look, let me bring out the screen brush. This is the header. Okay, this is the header. And we have the logo here. Then we have a menu here. Okay, this is a menu with menu items. We have 2 buttons. And then we have a profile here. And look specifically to these buttons that they have a gradient border, right? But it gets even cooler. Look, if I hover over it, hey, let's go. It has background, well, fields or, labels. So I'm going to be teaching you that. Stay tuned. Let's get into the header. Okay, so we're going to make a component called header. Okay, here. We're going to make a component called header. And after that, by the way, let's put that also here to have search container. And we're going to have media here. Okay, media. Now, it's going to complain because we haven't made home header yet. And guess what we're going to do? As I'm stating here, we're going to make a file called components. Okay, so here in your source, go into your source, right click folder, components, and then boom, we're going to make a new file called header.js. Go inside of it, rfce. Okay, and here another new file, and we're going to say header.css. So today, guys, we're going to be using regular CSS. You'll see it is not that regular the way we're going to use it, but I want you to learn this because the power of CSS is just immense. Once you know that, you can use Tailwind, styled components, all that good stuff, okay? But this is just very important. So on the right side, I'm going to open up header.css. And on the left side, I'm going to open up the code. So that is how I usually work. I will show you guys code or component structure on the left side and then try to show this styling on the right side. Okay, so let's see if it does work now because it's actually implemented. No, it's not. Okay, let's go back to app.js. Here. Oh, it is. Hey, whoop, there it is. Okay, so here, let's change it up and say hello header. Okay, that way, that means I'm also testing things out, whether it really works. So here, header.js and header.css on the right side. Okay, so let's give header a class and say class name header. Okay, and then inside of the header, we're going to have a few things, right? We're going to have the menu, the buttons, and the profile. So here, div class name is menu. And inside of menu, we're going to have all of those things. So we're going to say reactions. And then we're going to have, I believe, 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 things. So another one, and I'm going to change this to entertainment, sports, artists, stickers. I think the order was a little bit different. Entertainment, sports, stickers. Yeah, stickers, artists, and here. Let's say we're going to call this for now the more verticon. What's that going to be later? I'll explain to you in a bit. But let's do this first, okay? So we have those things here. Plus, we're also having an image here. Okay, an image. So let's get those images first because if you go to your Git CS template, the images are there. So here, say public, and then copy this, put it here in public. I'm going to copy a file that I have, and I have all of the images here. Okay, so you'll see these coming up. In case you don't have this or you don't know how to find this, you can always use your console.log to grab that image from the Giphy website. Okay, so here, Giphy, oh sorry, we're going to go to header. And here, we're going to say, at the beginning, we're going to say image src / images / Giphy logo.png. That's how I called it. And then alt is logo. Boom. Awesome. It's here. It's super big though, but it's awesome. Can you guys still? Still see me, by the way? Because I see here videos unavailable. No? Okay, great. Everybody can still see me. Okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Thank you guys for letting me know. I'm just going to continue. So, the header, let's give that a background color so you can see what's going on. Thank you, Chinese Faith Science. Background color orange. It's really visible, the orange color. Okay, so header, and of course I need to import the header.css, otherwise nothing's gonna happen. Okay, so as you can see, the header is this whole big area, right? So let's make that image smaller. So let's target that image and say header image, and say width of that is only 150 pixel. Okay, awesome. Now, what we also realize is that header, we don't want things to be vertical, right? We want things to be horizontal. So what we're going to do is we're going to say display flex. But we're also seeing that the Giphy one is being stretched out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say align items, center. Let's go. However, the menu is still not how we want it, right? So let's make that visible, and the menu is stacking things up. So what does that mean? That means we also need to give the menu a display of flex. Let's go. Now that we have the menu, let's make those buttons first, okay? So here, I'm gonna say div class name, button. Thank you, Shazib Malik. Thank you for coming. That's awesome. And then here we're going to say upload. And for the second button, we're going to say create. Now, those are the two buttons here. And after that, we're going to have a class of profile. Okay, div class name is profile. And inside of the profile, we have, what do we have? We have that image of the avatar, which in my case is the BB-8 because I love Star Wars. And my lucky number is 8. So yeah, BB-8, of course. So avatar, it will come up. Hi, BB-8, hello. And then I'm going to say my name. You can use your own name, of course. And for now, let's just have here a word of key, okay? What that's going to be, I'm going to explain that in a little bit, okay? So, again, when we look at this, again, when we, for example, we look at profile, we know it's not the way we want it, right? So let's give profile a color, and let's already give it the color that it needs, okay? So that is like a darkish gray color. This one. Ooh. So you can see the whole area, and it's not displaying, you know, flex. It's not flexing, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say display flags, and that should change things already. And let's target that picture first. Let's say profile image and give it a width of 35 pixel. Oh, let's go. And now let's first do the profile in itself. Okay, let me make this just like this so you can guys see what's happening at the same time. So I'm gonna say profile. I'm gonna give it a width of 150 pixel like this, so it's bigger. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say justify content space between. Now, why would I do that? That means all of my items inside of the context that I have in the container are giving the same amount of space. There's space between them, okay? And because it looks a little bit odd, we're going to give it an aligns item of center. Hey, that looks a lot better, right? By the way, the key is going to be like this triangle. We're going to be installing something for that, but wait a minute for a moment. Now, let's first make those buttons, the upload and the create, okay? So let's go here and let's say button, okay? And for the button, we have this really cool purple color, background color, hex 6D 63FF, okay? Boom, there we have it. And we're going to give it a width of 75 pixels, a height of 35 pixels, a display flex, of course. Oh, this is what makes it better. And now you can see what's happening when we do this. We're going to first align it vertically. Okay, so, justify content is horizontally from left to right. Okay, so we're going to give that center. And then we're going to let it go down, so we're aligning it vertically. So align items center. Boom, there we go. And then we're going to give it a margin of right of 3 pixels. Hey, let's go. Who thinks it looks good already? Huh? Looks good, right? So let's continue. Now, this is why I've been waiting for this, because look, now we still have everything like kind of stacked up, right? But the menu is actually the one that will stretch things out if I do this. If I say menu flex 1. Now, what does that mean? It means that, hey menu, take up all the space you can get. Go to 100% as much as you can. That's what this means. And then we can say justify content space between. Just like that. And also we're going to give it a height, because we're going to need that. We're going to give it a height of 50 pixel. And then we're going to align it like this. Boom. Starting to look like something, right? So I hope you guys are happy. I hope smash that like button. Let's go on. Okay, so let's remove this orange color. And now it's starting to look way more like it's supposed to. And let's first change this up, okay? Because in the real app, we got this 3-dot kind of thing, and we got this keyboard arrow thingy. And what we are going to do for that is we're going to go to Material UI, Icons Installation. So if you Google that, go here, and then Installation. Now, here, pay attention, because I got in a lot of trouble with this, so I want you to not have that trouble. But install this one, the first thing here, and this means it's installing the Material UI library, Emotion React, and Emotion Style. You need all of these, okay? So go inside of your terminal, and always when you're installing a package, shut your server off or shut it down first. Never do it at the same time. It will give you trouble. Oops. So here, and then boom. So I copied it in, so mine is installing now. Oh, if you guys can see it, it's installing now. And oh, so it worked. And the second one you're going to be installing is this one. namely the SVG icons, because that's the one we're going to be working with. So npm install, also install this one. Okay, if you have my Git templates, look there, it's in the README, you can find those comments there. And then I'm going to start this one up again. Okay, so npm start. So, oh, there we go. Now, in order to know how to use the icons, you go into the search here, and then popular searches, you go for looks for something that's called material icons. Okay, so open this one up here, and look, we got a lot of icons here. So the one we're looking for, the first one is called More Verticon. This one. Okay, can you guys see it? Yeah, exactly, Malik. So many updates with Material UI, so I wanted you guys to save the trouble. So here, if you want to have this icon, click here to import it. Oh, I have to click it right. Click. And then make sure you have this import, otherwise it does not work, okay? And then put it at the top of your file like this. Let me word wrap it. And then you're going to use it. So instead of where I had H2, I'm just going to say, oh shoot, I'm just going to say More Verticon. Okay, spell it exactly the way it is here. And if correctly, I'm going to go now here, More Verticon, exactly now. And hey, let's go, we have it here. Now the same thing goes for the key. Let's do this, keyboard. And I know this one, I know it's called keyboard down, arrow down. And look, if you look at the, look here, don't take this one, the material, and use this one. And if you click it, it will also automatically import it. So that's also for you to know that the installation of the dependencies went well. If you don't have that and you're having trouble, then you also know it might be because of that. Okay? Go Lem, thank you. So here, let's see if we have it. Let's save it. Let's refresh it. Come on, come on, come on. Hey, hey. There we go. We have it. It is here. It looks phenomenal, right? Just such a detailed thing. Now that we have this, let's work on the menu, okay? Who's excited to work on the menu? Who's excited? Let's go work on the menu. Okay, this is really exciting, guys. I really loved making this one because look. So if you look at this, how would you approach this? Tell me in the comments, guy, how would you approach how would you approach this problem? Okay, so it means actually I have a border here with a gradient color, and when I hover it, it suddenly becomes a full rectangle gradient. Okay, so what is it? What is why and what is when? So what if I simplify things and I first just make this, when it looks like this, in an active state? Not in a hover state, in an active state. Okay, so let's make that and let's call that button wrapper. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here to my app, and I'm gonna go here, H2. And I'm gonna show you a little trick. I'm gonna say Command D, and then div class name button wrapper. Okay, like this, and then boom, save it. That's it. Let's make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Awesome, we got a button wrapper. Okay, and let's remove all of this now. So it's starting to look a little bit more like it's supposed to. And the button wrapper, let's just for now not worry about the gradient. Let's just give it a fixed color. Okay, so button wrapper. Oh, button wrapper. let's give it a fixed color of something different, something green or something. Yeah, media, a Korean, that sounds good to me. Okay. And the button wrapper is going to have a height of 35 pixels. It should be visible. Yes. And it's going to have a display flex, of course. Align items. Flex start, and you'll see this will have effect later. And we're going to give it a margin right of 10px. So everybody can see this. Maybe it's not dark enough. Maybe I should do teal or something like this. Okay, awesome. Wow. Okay, starting to look like something. Now that we have this, we know that all of these could have these colors, right? So let's say I would have, but the button wrapper actually is not the same color for everything. It has a different color. So let's say I give this a class of reactions, right? And we can actually do it like this. We can say, we can select this, and then we can copy this, and I would make an extra class here. Okay, and of course I would give it smaller letters because that's better for classes. So I would say E Entertainment with a small one, S A, and I'm totally forgetting this one is being left out. That's no good. So here we're gonna put, and then we're gonna say more verticon. Okay, so let's say we have the reactions class here, and we're gonna give that a gradient. Now, in order to make a gradient, it's very simple. You go to background gradient generator, as you can see here. Boom. That's how you make a gradient. And so you can go here and you can say, I want this to be more purple, and this one here, I want this to be even more pink. And once you have something that you really like this, or maybe you want to have it horizontal, then you're going to copy background here. Bloop. You're going to copy it, and it copies this styling. Okay, so once you go here for the reactions, I do have already some colors, and let's test it out. Boom, it should come up. Hey, let's go. So for reactions we have that, right? And I also have those for the other category, so let's copy that, and you find that in the Git template, so make sure you use that. Oopsie. So make sure you use that. And oh, it's starting to look like something or what? It's starting to look like something or what? And now I think some people are starting to understand, like, oh wait, hey, I know what's happening. Because upon the hover, it should show or not, right? So what we're going to be doing here, we're going to wrap this category inside of another class. Okay, and we're going to say, we're going to say div class name. Oh, we're going to remove that one. Div class name, menu button. Okay, and the div didn't come up because it was dig. Oh, div. Wait. This is not. Wow. Sometimes it can work for you or it can work against you. Hey, it's only, my thing is only doing this. Okay, here, V, menu, but aha, I see it. I see it, guys. It's here. Like this. Boom, pow. There we have it. And then H2. It should be good to go, and it's missing the H2 again. It's missing another H2. like this. Oh my lord. Okay, help. Okay, just, you know, sometimes you need some patience with coding. You know, it's very important to have patience, to practice patience. Okay, and somehow I got here entertainment. Awesome. There we go. So we got menu button. So what do you think we're going to be doing with menu button? What do you think we're going to be doing with menu button, huh? Tell me, what are we going to be doing? Well, is menu button going to be colored or is it going to be dark? Right? I think you guys know the answer. Let me know in the comments. Menu button, background color. Whoop. 1 2 1 2 1 2. 30 pixel. Let's go. Come on. Hey! There we go. And we're gonna give it a padding of 10 pixel. Ooh, shit. It's starting to look like something, guys. And they're gonna... Oh, we're gonna give it a display flex. And we're gonna give it aligned items of center. Hey, let's go. Does this look good or what? Does this look good or what? And we also need to wrap the more icon here. So we're gonna say div class name. Go away. Menu button. Like this. Awesome. Hey. So yeah, this is how it is, but look, it's still static. It's still static. So what we need to do is we need to have a hover class. But when is that hover class gonna appear? That hover class should appear on, you know, because now we don't have that thing that comes up. So, but we definitely have, you know, the menu button. If we would give this another color, so let me make that visible for you guys. Let's say I give this dark blue. Hey, wait a minute. This class has to come up when I'm using the hover, correct? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a hover class to that class. Does that make sense? Okay, so here, and of course, for every category, we have a different color. So how are we gonna deal with that, right? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna select button wrapper, and I'm gonna take care that I'm having everything. So let me put this like this, and then whoop, I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm gonna paste it in here, and I'm gonna say hover dash, okay, hover dash, and let's first try out the first hover, okay, the first hover. Let's do first reactions, okay? So let's say, how would I do that? I would say dash hover reactions hover, which is an action, okay? This could either be a hover, focus, whatever that is, and then I'm gonna give it the background gradient, which I also have here, but unfortunately with hover you can't, you know, reuse that somehow. So here I'm gonna say boop, I'm gonna paste that in, and because this is an extra class of menu button, look what happens now. Hey, let's go. Who's liking this, guys? Who's liking this? Who is absolutely liking this? Let me see if I can. Isn't that cool? So now that we know how to do this for this one, we also have those for the rest. And again, inside of the templates, I put these all there. You can grab them and you can use those, okay? Or you can make your own gradient colors, right? So now if you go here, boom, we got them for all the buttons if it works correctly. Wait, sorry, it's not the correct one. It has to be with hover, otherwise it doesn't work. So like this, boom. Hey, wait a minute. I think it's just a refresh. Hey, let's go. So does that look cool or what? We have the hover and you have the background here. Okay, so the header is finished, guys. Let's go fast to the next one, okay? So because we still have a lot to do. So here, we're gonna go to app.js and guess what? We're gonna make a search container, okay? So here, so first go to components, make a new file and say search container.js. And then you're gonna make another file, of course, and say search container.css. Now, search container, making a search bar, guys, is really something that you have to know how to do this. It will be asked so many times of you when you work professionally or something. You should be able to dream how to make a search container, a good one, a good looking one. Okay, so here we have the search container. Let's import it here. Let's say search container and also get it here. What you can also do is, if I shorten this word and go like this, it will look up, boom, it's there. Okay, so on the right side, let me open that one up, and here, and if I know it's imported because it changed. Okay, so hello search, it should be, yeah, awesome, it's there. Okay, so let's start making the search container. Okay, so the search container is not that hard, but it always has certain elements that you always need to know. And of course, we're also going to be using Material UI again. So here, class name, search container. And search container always has an input. And you always give it a type of text. Then you're going to give it a placeholder, which in this case is, search all the GIFs and stickers here because it's a Giphy website. And then it has a self-enclosing tag like this. Here, boom, there we have it. And also we want to have a search icon. So what we do, div class name, search icon, and then we're going to use search icon, boom, pow, like that. And then we need to import that here. So let's see if it works. It's not, but we can go to Material UI. Material UI is sometimes a bit, it has its own character. And here's search. I'm looking up search here. Boom, search icon from blah, blah, blah. So copy this one. We want to have this one. And then we put it at the top of your file, like this. There we go. So if correctly, we have that, there we go. And if I go here in my CSS file, which I need to import at the top, search container.css, here I can say search container, and let me make this visible for you guys again, and as you can see, it is not aligning things in the right way. So let's also give this display flex like this, boom, and let's give it a height of 45 pixel. Awesome. And now align items center. Hey, starts to look like something, right? And I think it's a little bit too close to the top, so let's give it a margin top. So margin is always working to the outside, padding is always on the inside. Okay, so here margin top, 5 pixel, boom, pow, like that. Awesome, that's starting to look like something, yo. So gonna remove, no, not yet. I don't want to remove it yet. I want you guys to be able to see this because search container, and now I'm gonna target the input. The input is an HTML element. That's how they call this. So that's way you can target that one inside of the class. Okay, so the input, guess what? We're going to give it a flex of 1. And then boom, it takes up all the space it can get. So it says to the search icon, move aside. Okay, so here we're going to make this bigger, the input. First going to say border none, because this border around it, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's not very nice. And especially when you click upon it, ooh, that border, it just hurts your eyes, you know? So let's also give it a padding left of 10 pixels, so you can see it changing here. Yeah, the text goes here, goes to the right, and then let's give it a height of 45 pixel, so it's not so small when you click upon it. So boom, it is the same height as we want the search container to be. Okay, and then also we don't want to have that border when we're clicking upon it. It's just not really nice. So what you do is this, is you're going to target that input, but you're going to say focus instead of hover. Usually you're going to say focus, and you're going to say outline none. Hey, now if I click upon it, clicking upon it, okay, you don't see anything. You don't see the blue border coming up. Now let's work on this one, the search icon. Okay, so, and first the placeholder, by the way, and you can actually style a placeholder. I didn't know that, but this placeholder, you can style it. So inside of this, so you can say here, you can say, even say color, and you can say something like purple, and then boom, it becomes purple. Pretty cool. I didn't know that either, but in this case we're just going to use gray, and then we're going to make it a lot bigger. Okay, so 20 pixel, and we're going to give it a margin bottom of 0, which is important. Now you don't see the effect, but the placeholder should always be at the bottom. Okay, it should stick to the bottom, otherwise it's not going to look nice. So that said, let's go to the search icon. Okay, the search icon class, which is actually surrounding that search icon. So here it's a gradient, so I got the gradient here. It's a nice tropical orangey, I don't know, something, it feels tropical. And we're gonna give it a height of 45 pixel and a width of 45 pixel. Okay, like this. Boom. And now that we see it's in one corner here in the left, we're gonna say display flex, justify content, center. So now it moves up to the right. Yes, and now we want it to go down, so we say align items center. Boom, it goes down. But the search icon is still a little bit small, right? So in order to target and to style that SVG icon, the one that we got from Material UI, you actually can go here. And how to do that? You can go to SVG icons, icon here, and they will tell you here how to style that. Okay, they will tell you here how to style that. Now, we're also going to be using this way to do that. So search icon dash icon dot MUI SVG icon dash root. So we're going to the root class inside of that icon. Okay, I'm going to say, okay, we want you to be a bit bigger, so font size 36 pixel. Boom, there we go. Does this look nice or look nice? I like it. I hope you guys do. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I hope. Thank you, Abdur. I hope this is better than watching a movie indeed. So this is set, guys. The search container, okay, is done. Donezo. Now we're going to go to media, and this is where the big part is. Okay, this is where the fun, the real fun comes. Okay, so let's go to app.js, And let's remove media also. But first, let's make the file here and say media.js. And here, media.css. Now, the media is going to be a big part because that's when we're going to get all of the Giphys. And we're also going to be building our API layer. So here in app.js, let's import media and say import media from components/media. Okay, and then here let's say media. Now media here, and let's say something else. Let's say hello media to really test. It's there. Now import. You guys know the drill, media.css. And what do you think media has? If we look at here, if you go with Screen Brush, we have one row that is called trending. Okay, we have one row that's called artist. Then we have another section called clips. And we have another big section called stories. Okay, called stories. So get ready guys, because you still have a lot to do. Okay, but that's okay. So here, let's start first off with class name, like we always do, and just call it media. Okay, and the thing is with this guys, is always like when you build a really big component, you always want to start off with the layout. Right, so what we know here, for example, is that we have a trending section and trending, and then we have artists, clips, and stories. So artists, clips, and stories. Okay, and all of these are actually inside of a row. Okay, so I'm gonna say div class name is row, and I'm going to put all of these inside of there like this row. And if you look closely, wow, we have them here. And if you look here, this is actually the title, but then here we have the content, title, content, title, content. And the title is not actually only the title, there's also an image there, right? So let's call this row header. So next to the row, we also have another div class name called row header, like this. Okay, and in the row header, we do have that title, but we also have an image coming there. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say image src images, and then paste this svg alt. Ooh. Copy this like this. Now let's make this a small letter. Oh, it already reads it. Okay, so there we have those. Boom. Hey, let's go. Okay, now we have those here, but like I just said, we also are gonna have some content, right? So after every row header, we have some content, and that is what is inside of one row. Okay, so wait a minute. Yeah, so here after the row header, we always have a container. So let's do this. Okay, let's say we're gonna be selecting this, and I'm gonna copy this, or wait, I can also copy this, copy, and then not in the row header here, I'm gonna say div class name, container, and here I'm gonna say h1 content. Boom. And this is the full layout, guys. And of course, content is not going to stay content, but we're going to fill that one up with data that we're going to retrieve from the API. Okay, so Awesome. Let's go. Hey, we got the content. Okay, let's make the content, by the way, not an H1. It's a little bit, makes it a little bit less visible. So let's make that a little bit smaller. I can do that quickly like this. Boom. Hey. Now, let's make the rows. Okay, enough typing. Let's make the rows. So let's say here, media. Let's start at the start. Okay, so media. Oh, let me check. So we got the rows, and let's give that a background color, or what should we do? Maybe something like this. Oh, it kind of hurts your eyes, but it's really visible. Okay, and every row, to distinguish those, is gonna get a margin top of 35 pixel. Oh, it's becoming a lot clearer now, guys. Awesome. So, and that row, look at this. If I say display flex, something's gonna happen. That's not really something that we want, right? So if you look at this, the row is actually, setting things horizontally, but the row header, that doesn't look like it's supposed to, right? So for the whole row, we need to do a flex direction of column 1L, like this. Okay, seems like it doesn't change, but it will. And then here we're gonna say row header, display flex. And also, let me make this really visible for you guys. Let's give this a dark blue color. And now you can see why this has an effect, right? So the whole row, the pink part, let's say, it has to be a flex direction of column, has to do things vertically, but the blue part, the header, has to do things horizontally, okay? So that said, we have the row header. We want to give that row header some more space, so we're going to give it a margin bottom of 8 pixel. And also the row itself, we're also going to give that a little bit of space, 5 pixels, something like this. And if you look at that image, it's a little bit close to the title, so I don't want that. So let's say row header image, and let's give it like 6 pixels. Hey, is that starting to look like something or what? Let's remove that. Ooh, shit. Okay. I like it. So now that we're here, actually, guys, I think it's time to build the API layer. Okay, and I'm gonna teach you a trick, because usually what happens, you have an API, then you have an API key, and then you're pushing things to Git, and before you know it, your API key is public. What? How to solve this, how to work with this? Stay tuned, okay? I'm gonna teach you this, how to build an API layer around your app, and we're gonna also be using Axios, okay, for fetching the data. So stay tuned. So let's start at the start. We want to have trending. We want to have these Giphys. Let's make it simple. Just these trending Giphys, correct? So what we got to do first is, we know that we want to have trending Giphys. So we say trending Giphys and then loop through those. That's our goal here. Now, in order to have trending Giphys to loop through, you would first have to grab them, right? So what do? So we make a variable called trending, set trending, okay? And everything here, what we're making regarding, what we're doing in useState in this component is regarding the Giphys that we're trying to pick up, right? So here, useState trending. Now, useState is not defined, so definitely define that at the top of your component, as always, like this. Okay? So, now, let's continue. First of all, when you work with an API, what you want to do is you want to go to the documentation of that API. So let's go to Giphy, Giphy.com. Yeah, so these Giphys, when they come in, they won't have the same size, but we'll style those images. Okay, so stay tuned, Malik. So here, this is the real Giphy site, guys. Don't get confused. It's the real one, okay? And here, look, you always go to something called developers when you want to work with an API of a certain website. And here, you're going to say, read the docs, documents, docs, and then guess what? API Quick Start Guide. Now, oh, I love this. And here it already says how to do it, okay? Create a Giphy API key by clicking Create an App on the developer dashboard. And you need to create an account for that first. So create an account with Giphy and then you're able to do that, right? So let's go to mine. I already have an account, of course. So what you do, I got here 2 API keys, but what you do is you press plus here. Oh, sorry, you press here, create an app. Don't choose it, choose this one, select API. It's not going to cost you anything. And then next step, fill this in, create app, and boom, you get this API key. So, and then copy it. So if you just press this, it says copied. Super cool. Okay. So now that we go back to here, we're going to build the API layer. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to make something called a .env file. A .env file. So you're going to say new file and then doot, boop, 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 env. And Visual Studio Code knows about this because look at this wheelie or cartridge or wheel card. Not native English speaker here, but that's okay. So .env, and in the .env, you're going to go to .gitignore, and this means, as the file says so, it ignores these files when you're pushing things to Git. At least that's how I understood it. So here I'm going to say .env. So .env will be ignored when the whole app is being pushed to Git, okay? And .env, let's say we're going to put the API key there, and now you have to pay really attention because the API key you're going to put in here, the thing we're going to put in here is the API key, and it always has to start, hey, why is it? It always has to start with React app. Always. Otherwise it doesn't work. Okay, it has to start with this. And then you have to give it the name. In my case, I got my API key here. I can also copy it from here. This one, boop. And then here, double quotes. And then paste it inside of here. Okay, so I got my .env file, which is ready. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to access that .env file. But before we do that, we're going to be building the API layer right now. And you're going to make a folder here and call it API. And then you're going to make another file called api.js. And this api.js file is actually some boilerplate I found somewhere. And you're going to be using... We're going to be using npm Axios for that. Oh, sorry, Axios. But we're going to install it now. That's why I had that comment in my head. So here, npm install Axios. Not Axios, huh? Axios. Boom. Like that. Fast, right? So let's start it up again. So, and here I'm going to put some boilerplate in. And I'm not going to go deeply into this boilerplate because that's a whole other YouTube video. But what happens here is you import Axios, okay? And you have some params here, which you're going to use in your request to fetch data from the Giphy API. Now, and with the Axios instance, you're creating an instance from Axios. So they're saying, okay, you can use that. And we're giving it the Axios params that we have stated here. However, we're going to overwrite those params. Now, This part of the code is just something that Axios need to cancel certain things. You don't need to pay attention to that, but you definitely need it. Git clone the templates and you'll see it there, the boilerplate, okay? Be focused on this, which is the main API function. And look, it's very familiar, right? You can do a get request, post request, put, all of that good stuff. And we're going to export that API functionality with the Axios instance we just made so we can use it in our entire app. Sounds cool or what? So here, we're going to make a file inside of the API folder, and we're going to call it Giphy API.js. Now, before I go into this, let's go a little bit more and deeper into how the API works of Giphy, okay? Because if you go to Giphy here, now that we got the API code, we also need to know what kind of endpoints we need, right? What kind of URL, what do we need to make this happen? So because we were looking for trending Giphys, remember trending, and that's obviously in Giphy, in the Giphy website. If you look here, normal Giphy, no, Giphy here, that is a section, that is a, you know, they have that data there, and here this wait, trending, I was the endpoints here, the endpoints, you have to go here to the endpoints, trending endpoint. See, that's how you know it is actually a thing with them. And as you can see, api.giphy.com v1 gives trending. Okay, and first I thought, how is it then compiled? How is actually a URL for an API call? How is that usually, how do they do that? You know, so what I do then is I say how to use Giphy API, and then I choose, for example, platform like Medium to get more information on it. And then I saw this article, and if I scroll down, I see, for example, something like this, and I'm like, oh wait, api.giphy.com v1 gives, okay, search, and then Q, so this is probably a param for query, then and API keys, or your API key, and the limit. And I was like, oh, that's how Axios also, in the request, you have to send that with them. Okay, so here we can say, in our app here, we can first make a base URL, right? So here we're going to import API from API, and we don't have to specify the folder because we're already there. And we're going to say Giphy base URL is, and then we're going to use backticks, okay? And I'm going to say https api.giphy.com slash, and then the one that we saw, v1 gifs slash, okay? And that's very important. Don't forget that slash, okay? And then what we're going to do is we are going to make our own param. So we're going to say default params. And watch now, guys. I can say this. I can say API key. Okay. Watch this. I'm going to say process.env dot. Does this sound familiar? React app Giphy API key. Okay, so two things those are happening here. Recognize this API key? That's this, what we saw here, the API key. It's a param for the request for this URL. Okay, and then we can give as a value, we can give our API key. We don't have to, like we sometimes do, we don't have to do this and then API key. That's also a way to do it, but this time we're doing it differently. Okay, so that said, we also want to sometimes give a query. So, or sorry, in this case, a limit, which is here, we're going to put on 50 because look, there's a limit, and we can maximum ask 50. If we look here at the endpoints, you can give any integer that you want. Okay, so that's it. Let's continue, because we want to make a function called fetch trending Giphys. And of course, we want to export that function because we want to use that throughout our whole app, right? And guess what we're doing now? We're saying, hey API, hey ReactJS, we want to make a GET request, and we want it to be regarding trending, because this is the trending endpoint. And guess what? It will make this URL. It will put that behind it. Okay, so trending, and then after that, so pay attention, inside of here, we're going to say base URL, and we're going to give it, guess what? The base URL that we made. Okay, and as params, we're going to give it the default params that we already made at the top of this file. Does this make sense? And we need to return this, okay? Because this is gonna return a promise, by the way. So that said, I think we have our first fetch trending Giphys call. Let's use it in the media, okay? So let's go to media, and we're gonna be setting this, right? So what we'll say is, we'll say something like, we're gonna use useEffect, which is a React hook, and make sure you say an empty array there, because you only want it to spin up once. Okay, so now that we're here, get trending Giphys, we're gonna mention here, we're gonna say get trending Giphys, and then we're gonna state it here. We're gonna say const get trending Giphys. And we already know that we need to fetch something, or we need to get something. So let's make this an async. So we're going to await the result. And that means here, const trending is the result of await, guess what? Fetch trending Giphys, which is our API functionality. So here we're saying get the Giphys. Okay, by doing an API call. And guess what? Set the trending Giphys. Right? So here, set trending, and by the way, I know this, you don't know this yet, but it's actually in an array called data where you have 50 Giphys, okay? Now, we do have a problem if we do this all the time like this, because this Giphy array will always have the same order of Giphys when you call it from the API. So what we need to do, we need to make a randomize data functionality. So here, const randomize data, and here data or content. And here we're going to say, okay, content, I want that to be sorted. And by the way, it's also the trending. If you log it, it has even more layers into it. So we need to do this content.data, so data. Okay, so make sure you pay attention to that. And we're gonna say data.sort. Ooh. I'm gonna say math.random minus 0.5. Okay, I'm not going to go into that, but in the MDN documentation of JavaScript, you can find how a sort function works and what you can give it in order so it can sort things for you accordingly. Okay, so what we're going to do here on line 18, we're going to say randomize data, boom, like that. Okay, and now if we console log trending, what is in trending, let's see what comes out. Let's see what comes out. Oh, we have a have 50 Giphys. Okay, are you guys still with me? Say yes, give some energy in the comments because this is a long build. Okay, guys, I'm having so much fun building this. I hope you guys do. Maybe you're very focused. Let me know how it goes. Okay. So, that said, okay, let's go. Let's get into it. We have the 50 arrays here, the 50 Giphys. Woohoo! Awesome, awesome. Everybody's still here. That's so cool. That's so cool. So let's go inside of this array. Okay, here it says array. Okay, and here at the end it also says array. So this array here actually has 50 objects. So let's go into one Giphy object here, and look, we have something called images. Awesome, awesome. That's so great. That's so good to hear. We have images here. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys here. And then inside of images, we have down, and you can, use this URL, which we're going to be doing, in a moment. So inside of this, you can find so much information, guys. You have the ID of the Giphy, which you might need later. You have the time, you have the title, you have, sometimes you have something of an artist or something. So awesome. Really, really cool. So always make sure you know what data with what you're working. Okay, so now that we have the trending, guess what we're about to do? We're about to map through those. Okay, so here we're going to say trending map trending Giphy. Okay, and then we're going to return something, but in this case let's keep it simple first and just say trending, just say something in H2 so it's very visible. Oops. And let's say trending Giphy, whoopee, title or something like this. Boom. And let's see if so. Hey, let's go. Let's go. I did see that I put the map in the wrong. I put the map inside of the row header, so that's why it's next to it. So let's not do this. Let's put it here inside of the trending container where it belongs. So that's always good. Hey, let's go. We got a bunch of titles here. Okay, that's good news because if we can get the title, we can also get the image, correct? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make a trending Giphy tile. Okay, so we're gonna make another component and we're gonna call that, well, surprise, surprise, this trending Giphy tile. So I'm gonna say, by the way, let's use the index here also, and let's say trending Giphy, and give it a Giphy prop, which is trending, of which the value is the trending Giphy itself, and then also give it a key because React will otherwise complain. Okay, and let's make here in the components, let's make a file, let's say trending Giphy.js, and then here let's say trending Giphy, Giphy.css, and let's go to trending, let's make this, boom, pow, and let's import the trending Giphy.css. Alrighty, we still have a long way to go, guys. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Okay, so now that we have this one here, let's see if we imported it correctly in app.js. Oh, sorry, in media. Okay, let's say trending Giphy. Yeah, trending Giphy. Boom. And as you can see, it doesn't need the slash components because we're already inside of media, correct? So we have trending Giphy here on this side, and on the other side we have the CSS. But wait a minute. Oh no, let's first do this. Okay, so we got the Giphy. Everybody understands, right? Because we just passed in, and when we map through it, every time we map through it, we're passing in a Giphy prop. So this is how you can extract that immediately. Without the brackets, you would have to do this props.giphy, etc. Okay, so Giphy. Now, we can also give here the Giphy title, but we can also use something called the images, getting the images, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say image, image source, curly brace, Giphy, and then we're gonna say images downsized URL. And then as alt, you can always say Giphy.title. And wait, let me make this more clear. I got some typos here. Okay, close. Awesome. There we go. Looks much better. And then give it a clap. Oh, it's here. It's here. The Giphys are here. Woohoo! The Giphys are here. And the Giphys are not the size. We will work on that right now. So let's call this trending Giphy. And we can also pass a key here, Giphy.id. And now that we have the images, we also had, of course, the container. Okay, so if you look at media.js, remember the trending container? We also have to change that here. So we say trending container. And because let me show you guys how this looks. Okay, let me show you guys. This is the whole trending container right now. Okay, that's not good. That's not what we want. We want it to look differently because we want it to be aligned like that. So always make it visible, because otherwise you don't understand which direction to go. Okay, so here we're going to say, of course, we're going to say display flex. Boom. And now it should go that way. Woohoo! But then you can go endlessly this way. So now we're going to say, we're going to give it a height of 150 pixel. Okay, and now that's only the trending container, but if you change the container, your images don't change with that immediately. Okay, so we're gonna first do something else here. Pay attention, overflow hidden. So now that we have that, at least, oh, phew, at least it's not overflowing. Okay, it's not overflowing anymore, but it still doesn't look right. Okay, and that means we have to go back to trending.giphy CSS here, and we have to do something about the image here. Okay, so here we say trending Giphy, and we're going to target the image like this, and we're going to say that, does anybody know? If you already have the container, the image often only needs this. Okay, boom. And this means show 100% of the whole image. Okay, but it still looks a little bit odd because, you know, it's not looking the way it should be. So let's say we're gonna give it a border radius of 3 pixel to make it a little bit more clean. And it's a bit hard for you guys maybe to see. Okay, and now this is gonna make the difference. Trending Giphy, margin right, 3 pixel. Okay, boom. And now you can see it because I left the purple background behind it. So here, let's remove that. And hey, does that look clean or what? Does that look clean or what? And if you look at it, if I refresh this, we're going to have different Giphys. Hey, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think it looks really cool. Oh, triangle. Oh, that was not the one I was looking for. So it looks like this right now. Okay, so let's get going, guys. We're gonna go to the artist. Okay, to the artist, and the artist actually make a file called artist like this. Okay, and it should be inside of your source. but it should not be inside of components or API. Got it? So it should be here. Awesome. Thank you guys. The Giphy, I mean, I don't know why, but it always makes me laugh. A Giphy, just a picture sometimes says so much more than just text, you know? So here, let's say we have the artist. Now, if you go to my template, I selected a few artists for you, but you can also just look for artists yourself, and I just made a small array with some artists, okay? So I made these artists that I liked, and I just made an array of it and strings, okay? Because we're gonna loop through it, and when we loop through this artist array, every time we have an artist, we're gonna make a call with the API, and we're gonna basically have a GET request, a search request actually, whereby we say like, hey Giphy, search this artist for me, or search this query for me. Okay, so we're gonna now make this functionality. So let's go back to media, and we have to do that here. Okay, so here in content. So here in content, get artist, loop through artist, and loop through artists and show them, show their work. Ship to Giphys of artist. Okay, you'll find out why I say that so specifically. Okay, so here I'm gonna make a function, and I'm gonna call it get artist. Oh shoot, get artist. Oh man. Okay, wait. So wait, rewind. Let's start at the start. If we want to do something with Giphys of artists, then we need to have a variable for that. Okay, so here, artist, which are the Giphys regarding artist, I'm just gonna call it artist for now. Set artist is useState like this. Okay, and we're gonna have a function called get artist. Okay, don't automate it now. And this get artist functionality is a little bit of a complicated one, but I'm going to explain it, and it's not going to be that complicated as it seems. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to map through, okay, we're going to map through Giphy artist, and then with each artist make an API call with the result on the result and get that. Okay, so I would say start at the start always, which is very easy. Giphy artist, and it's already, when I do this, it's already importing artist here. You see that? That's a file we just made. And then map Giphy artist. Okay, and what do we want to do with the Giphy artist? Well, every time we want something from this Giphy artist, we actually want to make a request, right? But we don't have that functionality yet, because before in the API called Giphy API here, we only made a trending Giphys functionality, but not a search kind of functionality. So let's make that one here and say fetch searched Giphys, and that always has a query. And that query, of course, when remember this, search. Hey, does that sound familiar? Search and then query, and then the API we have it, and the limit we also have it, right? So that sounds familiar, right? So here we're going to say we're going to return an API again. We're going to say API.get, guess what? Search. And then we're going to pass something in. We're going to say base URL, Giphy base URL, params. And this one's going to be a little bit different because we want to have these params. So I'm going to use a spread operator so I can only get the content out of it. It's spread operator, read into it. So here I'm going to say default params. Okay. And then I'm going to say, watch what we did. Remember, we had API key limit. We also can use the Q because now we're doing something with search. So now we're saying Q query. Yeah, that's how we do it. So let's go to media.js here, boom. And here we're going to say that we're going to grab that. So we're going to say that for every Giphy artist, we want the result of what we get returned from fetch shirt Giphys, okay, which will be given the Giphy artist, because that is our query. And what we've been talking about the whole time is that Axios actually returns promises, so it has to wait and collect all of that. In this case, we're mapping through an array, which means we're poof, 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 request, but we might not get the result immediately back. And that's what is called async, right? But we want to wait for all of those requests, the results of those, and then do something. And we do not want to do something before that. So let's make this more aligned with that, okay? So let's make this an async function. And let's also, the results, let's save that inside of something called artist or artist Giphys. But I find artist sometimes easier. And then let's do this. Let's await all of those results, okay? And then we have to wrap everything inside of here. So here has to be the parentheses. And I've never seen this before, but here I used it and thought, oh, that's pretty cool actually. When we map through it, let's also await that and make that async. So when the fetch shirt Giphys here is doing that, doing their thing, getting the data for you, we actually should wait until they come back. So here we say then res dot, and then we notice from trending data before res dot data. And this is then being stored inside of artist. And of course, after we have that, we want that to set with artist. So here we're going to say artist, but as we know, because data is nested, so we need to flatten that out and say flat. So this is a little bit more advanced, guys. I know that JavaScript advanced, so make sure I'm just dropping certain terms. So in case you don't know exactly what it is, if you hear me saying certain terms, you can look it up and Google it and then get more context. That's actually how you learn. Take certain terms and then. But I am explaining certain basic things of this. So this is how we get the artist. Now let's see if you're really getting those. Okay, so let's see console.log artist. What is in artist? Okay, boom. And then log it. Oh, what is in artist? This is so cool. We got 233 Giphys of artist. And that probably means, yeah, I know what that means. I had about 5 artists of something, so maybe it means like 4 artists had 50 Giphys and the rest of it at the end had 33 or something. So yeah, this is really cool. And how do I know this? Because I've looked at this data and look, if I go like this, let's look at the username is not here. Let's see. Oh yeah, here. By Toki, Giphy by Toki, Giphy by Toki. Oh, Giphy by Toki. And that was one of the artists that I had, Toki. Do you see that? So that's how you get those artists and you make API calls when you're mapping through something. So let's put that in here. Let's say artist map Giphy artist. And again, let's return something and say h2 Giphy artist, artist dot title. Okay, Let's remove all of these and let's see if oh, let's go. Can anybody guess which artist now is shown to the screen? Something with grand dame, big lady? The big lady? Awesome. I love her art. You're going to see it in a minute. Okay, so now that we have this looks familiar probably. We're gonna also make a component called artist Giphy, and we're gonna pass in a Giphy prop. And guess what? We're gonna pass in that Giphy artist. Oh, actually, it's not the right word. It's actually the Giphys of an artist. So artist Giphys. Okay, so let's change that up because that's very important. Okay, and yeah, it should also be here, but let's do this. Okay, and say also let's use the index and say key index. Ooh, like this. Oh, and now it's going to crash because it doesn't have artist Giphy as a component yet. It doesn't exist yet. Okay, so from artist Giphy. So let's make that one right now, and it looks very similar to the trending Giphy. However, it's a lot bigger. Okay, so artist Giphy.js, artist Giphy.css. Let's go. So RFC, artist Giphy here, and let's import that. Okay, import artist Giphy.css. Now, you guys might be thinking, but wait a minute. I also know what's going on right now. We have to go to media.js and we first have to set the container. Yes. Patience. Okay, so here we're going to say artist Giphy. Let's first get the pictures. Okay, so here, you know the drill. Class name artist Giphy. Okay, and the Giphy is being received here as a prop. Remember, from media. Boom. Well, here. Okay, it's being passed in as a prop in this component, and then you can receive it here by destructuring it. And then here, of course, we're going to say image up Giphy images downsize.url. Alt is Giphy.title. And if correctly, artist Giphy is not defined. Really? Still? Oh, okay. So here, let's go to media. Artist Giphy. Let's go to the top. Oh, artist Giphy. Yes, it should come now. Oh, let's go. Oh, I like this. Rihanna. That's cool. That's cool. I love this art, guys. I love this art. So, again, let's go back to artist Giphy. Let's change this one up in artist Giphy. So here, artist Giphy. No. Here, let's go to artist container like we did before with the trending container, correct? So artist container, background color, medium, something turquoise. Okay, so you guys can really see it. And yeah, it's a super big container, as you can see here. So you guys know the drill. Display flags, overflow hidden, and this doesn't have a height of 150 pixel. It has a height of 230 pixel. Okay, so that's a little bit different than the trending container. So, oh, it already looks so good. Now let's go back to the artist Giphy. So and let's target the image. Okay, so let me put the code up here. Let's target the image. Okay, and of course we're gonna say height 100%. And that's gonna change a lot. If correctly, come on. No, it's not gonna change anything. Artist Giphy. Artist Giphy. Okay. this is already at 100%. Is that what it is? Anyways, let's continue. And then we have border radius 3 pixel, and we have the artist Giphy class itself, margin right 3 pixels. I don't see the turquoise coming out of the back either, so let's see if I just have to restart. Artist. Oh, Giphy. Ah, there we go. That makes sense. Okay, it was also slow, the thingy. Now that I removed this, hey, let's go. That looks better. How cool does this look, guys? You guys already made this. Okay. So that said, guys, we're not almost there. We have to keep going, but we came a long way, okay? This is still the easy part, so stick with me, okay? We're gonna make the clips, and the clips actually is very different from what we did before, okay? So let me explain this to you. With the clips, we have a grid, okay? We're gonna be using a CSS grid now, a grid, okay? And the grid is gonna consist of one column like this and a second column, and the second column is gonna have 2 images instead of 1, and there's also going to be a picture, and then there's text below it, okay, which has an image and a title, which I overlapped here, but that's the idea, okay? So let's get into it and let's see how you build this. Okay, so let's go back to media.js, and now we're here at clips. Now, what did we say before? We said we always have to start at start, right? So we say constant clips set clips. Use state like this. Now, with clips, actually, I wanted to make use of that search query that we used before. Remember this one? So I just want to call this and then be done with it. I just want to name something, but how am I supposed to do that when I also have to set it? Okay, so at least let's make the search function. Okay, so let's say get search Giphys, and I want to give it a query. So let's say something like coffee, something. I mean, who doesn't love coffee, you know? And let's say set clips. Now, here with what I'm going to do is I'm going to say const get search Giphys, and I know I'm going to get a query, and I know I'm going to get a setter function that's going to set the state. So let's call that set state like this. And what I want to do is I want to pass this in, but guess what? This one, the Giphy API, does have something with a query. So this might already seems very familiar. What you're going to do is this. Let's go back to media.js. What you're going to do is this. You're gonna say, you're gonna say, of course, you wanna store it, of course. So get searched is, and we all know by now that if we use this functionality here with query, we know we have to await that result. Okay, and if we have to await something else has to become async. Okay, so we're gonna make this async and await. And like we did here before, we're gonna get all the things, and once we have that, we're gonna set it. And guess what, guys? Watch this. If you say set state searched the data, this set state is equal to get set clips, and set clips is the setter function for the use state that sets the value of clips. Hey. So I know for the more advanced people, their mind might be like, boo, like going like that, because this is really, really cool, and you're going to see the power of it even more later. Okay, so again, we're going to say randomize data and search data. We're going to pass that in. Okay, so let's remove this log, but let's say, okay, what is in clips? Okay, clips. Let's see what we can find in clips. And you always have to do this because, oh, we have it here. Because that way you just know for sure that you have data, right? And not that you're working a long time on other stuff and finally it has to look good and you have nothing to show for. Okay, so here, clips, awesome. Now, let's go to the clips container for the content, of course. So here, guess what? We're not going to map through those clips. We're going to say clips Giphy section. Oh, and then we're going to pass in that array of 50 GIFs. That's right. Giphy array, Giphys array. Okay. And we're going to pass it in clips. Like this. And of course, we need to make that component. So let's say clips Giphy section.js. And here also clips Giphy section.css. Are we still here, guys? Give some energy in the comment. Let's go, let's go. What's up, what's up? What's up, guys? Awesome. So here, let's make this one here like this and say import clips Giphy section.css. I'm getting double, triple CSS files here. Okay, and here on the right, I'm going to open up the clips Giphy section like this. Okay, so let's see if it's imported correctly inside of media. Probably not. So here, import clips, boom, there we go. And we haven't changed anything at all. Aha, clips Giphy section, so that's correct. So now we can work on this one. Hi, like that. Now we know for sure that it works. Okay, so this is quite a big one, guys. So let's go, okay? We have, up until now, we haven't worked with the grid yet. So here we're gonna call it clips grid, okay? And this clips grid is, like I said before, it's gonna have one column. So I'm gonna call that the first column. Oops. And it's gonna have a second column, okay? And the first column is going to have one image. And of course, the second column is going to have two images, like this. Okay? And awesome. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So here, first, clips grid. Okay? Clips grid. We have to make this into a display grid. Now guys, I would suggest, if you want to know more about CSS grid, definitely go to here, Flexport Tricks, and then say grid, and then go here. I'll paste it into here in the chat, okay? Boom, like this. This one is on grid, it's really good. And the other one that you saw is on Flexbox. That one is also really, really good. Okay, so boom, like this. And what we are gonna do now, let's close this one up, display grid. And what you want to do is you always want to set a template. So what you do is grid template columns, and in this case it's going to be 3. Now, what does a fr mean? It means fraction. It means, you know, an equal portion of the whole grid. So in this case, we know that the total is 4 actually, 3 plus 1, and the first part is going to be 3 parts big, and the other one is going to be equal to 1, as big as 1 part. Okay, so here we're going to say gap 10 pixel, and that's it for now. Now let's show this by giving the first column some colors. So let's say background color orange. Okay, and here the second one, let's say purple. Okay, whoop, background color purple, like this. So, and oh yes, hey, can you see it? Can you see it? So the first column, we want it to have a certain height. Okay, we want it to be 400 pixels high, and we want it to have a width of 750 pixel, like this. And the second one, we want that to have a width of 350 pixel and a height of 450 pixel, like this. Okay, and it's a little bit bigger. You're going to see later why, but it's a little bit bigger. So now that we have this, okay, let's put in the images. And the images, remember when we were a media here, we passed in a Giphys array. So this one, you can receive that here, curly braces, boom, pow, like this. And then every time, we're going to use a use effect, because every time this array changes, you want to re-render the component. Okay, so guys, read about use effect. It's a React hook. Okay, you can read about it in React documentation, and here it's getting imported immediately. So what we do here is we don't want to have all of the 50 pictures inside of that section, right? So what we do here is we say let random data, because we also don't want to have every time, we want to take 3 Giphys actually from this array. So, but we don't want to have the same one all the time, right? So what we do is we say Giphys and then randomize data. Oh, Giphys array. And the randomized data is here. It's the same one as we used before actually. So that's going to be this one. But instead of content, we're going to be getting the Giphys array. Okay, so let me recap this. Inside of random data, we want to store the result of this functionality, who we pass in the Giphys array, like this. And then that's going to be sorted. It's going to be hustled. Then it's going to come back. It becomes random data. Once we have random data, we're going to set Giphys, which, by the way, we haven't even set here. So let's make that. Set Giphys, set Giphys. But we want to set that. So we say set Giphys random data, but we don't want to have those 50 Giphys. We only want to have 3 of those. So here we're going to say slice 0, 3. That's it. That's it. So now Giphys is only an array of 3 pictures, and it's going to complain because use state needs to be imported. Somehow it doesn't import use state automatically, but use effect it does. Okay, and then here within the image, we have to take the first image, the second image, and then the third image. Okay, so what's really tricky about this clip section is actually that the Giphys array, it can come in anytime, and it can also be empty at that point, right? And empty is still something that's true, like, but it won't show here. So in order to prevent that, what you do is you say Giphys, and you're saying going to get conditional, and you have to say this, you have to say Giphys that length, because an empty array is still truthy. Okay, and then we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna say null in case there's nothing, don't show anything, otherwise definitely show this. And of course we have to wrap this up. It doesn't like this, okay, like this, okay. And now we can say here, instead of image, we can say, instead of image in text, we can say src Giphys. Is Giphys around? Okay, cool. Let's check if the first one is here. Is that one also here? Okay, cool. Then let's get images downsized .url. Okay, and let's close it off like this. And for the second one, it's going to be the same. It's going to be like this, but instead of 0, it's going to be 1. And here for the second one, it's going to be 2. Why? Awesome. Hey, let's go. We got some Giphys with some good coffee. Giphys about coffee. Okay, so now we need to set those images. Okay, so in the first column, we're gonna say, of course, now that we have already have that container, we're gonna say first column image height is 100%, width is 100%. Oh, like this, and border radius for px. And now it will change, hopefully. Hey, let's go, Bill Murray in the house. Okay, and here, second column, image, and of course these ones are going to be a little bit different because they're a little bit smaller. Okay, and this one is going to be width 340 pixel and height 173 pixel. And if I do this, let's see what happens. Oh, ouch. Because look, the aspect ratio is changing. So what you can do for that is object fit cover. Let's change it. And oh, that looks much better. That looks much better. All kinds of cool Giphys. This one's all kinds of cool Giphys. Okay, so let's say border radius 4 pixel here. Okay, awesome. Now, why this is still a little bit up is because we don't have the text yet. Here we have a logo and then we have some text, okay? So let's get into that. Who's still here, guys? Hey, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey. Let's go. So here, so this is gonna be, it's not gonna be difficult, but it's a little bit much. So after image, all we wanna do with all three of these, what we wanna do is we wanna give it a logo. Okay, so we're gonna say here, oh sorry, not a logo. We wanna give them that paragraph, right? So here we're gonna say div class name is text, and inside of text is the image, and then we're going to say slash images dark, oh sorry, Giphy icon dark.png because it's already there. And then we can see alt, we can say dark logo like this. Okay, and here we're gonna say P, but actually what we want here, we want to have this Giphys, and actually we want to have it up until here even. So let's see if I can make this work like this. Boom. And then we didn't need that one. The title like this. Okay, like this. So let's see what happens. Probably it's gonna get a little bit weird styling because that image needs styling. Yes. So here inside of text, so let's first make that image smaller. Okay, so dot text image width is 20 pixel like this. That makes everything a little bit more yeah, now we're getting somewhere. And here height, we also have to give it a height of 30 pixel like this. Hey, let's go. And now text text is that big block, right? Is that paragraph, let's say. So let's make that visible, or maybe like dark blue. Okay, that's text, and as you can see, text is not displaying it right, is not doing the, so display flex like this. Come on, yeah, and then align items center. So now it's going to be vertically, and if you can see, the image is actually, it's touching the title. So margin right, 10 pixel. Come on, yes. And now this looks a lot better, and let's give it a height of 40. So this one is a little bit bigger here because it's a little bit squished. So 40 pixel, and give it also a margin bottom of 10 pixel. Hey, let's go. That looks good, or what? Now that we move to dark blue. Ha! Let's go. Coffee. Yeah, coffee. I love coffee. So this is cool, right? Although every time we do see this, we see GIF at the end. We can remove that, but let's just continue because otherwise it's going to be a long time. So for now, this is good. We finished the clips section. Okay, congratulations. Let's go. So here, now guys, we're coming at the end of it to stories. And stories is also a grid, actually multiple grids, because look at this, okay? If you look at this, what is noticeable about this? If I would build something like this and I would, I want to know what's going on, or how to do something, I always look at what are some common things I have and what are some unique things here. So let's see what I can do. Hey, no, I don't want to cut it. I want to just show it like this. Okay, so we have a square here, a row, I would say, a row. And then what you see here is that there's a large picture here, but there are two smaller pictures here. Right? And then there's a large picture here again, and then there's a smaller picture here, like this. And then here you only have small pictures. You see that? You only have small pictures. Okay? So what to do about that? Well, we're first going to try one way, and after that we're going to try another way. Okay? Just to show you guys for learning experiences too, how you can do things. Okay, so let's go to media. And guess what? We do need to get the stories first, of course. So, but this time it's gonna be super easy, because this time we just do get searched Giphys, and then maybe something like pose. Okay, and then we say set stories, and we haven't made that setter yet, so that's why we always have to start at the start. I'm sorry. Const stories, set stories. Okay, use state, boom, like that. But now we're also done. Holy cow, let's check it out. Stories, boom, stories. Let's see, what is this inside of stories? Okay, let's open up the console. This is in trending Giphy. Yeah, we can check that out later. It doesn't hurt yet. But, oh yeah, by the way, I'm not looking at the right. I'm gonna have to look here. Oh, we have stories here. We have stories here. Boom, pow, boom, pow. So we have the stories here, and we didn't had to do everything anymore. We just only had to use that function and change the query. That's cool, right? So let's go and say here, let's make a component and say, what do you call it? Stories Giphy section. Okay, and then we're gonna pass in a Giphys array. Guess what? With stories. Okay, with stories. And now it's going to complain because that doesn't exist yet. So here we're going to say stories Giphy section.js, and here we're going to say stories Giphy section.css. Instead of here, we're going to say RFCE, boom, and we're going to import that CSS file, of course. Stories Giphy section.css. Awesome. This is going to be a big one, guys. Stay tuned, okay? You don't want to miss out on this, I can assure you, okay? So let's start, right? So let's see if it's being imported correctly. Yes. Oh, let's say section. Yeah, like this. Thank you. And let's start, okay, with this one. Boom. Now, what we know here is that the first row, oh yeah, and the hovers, of course. The first row is, let's make it easy for ourselves, okay? Let's say class name, and then start off with, you know, something very, yeah, how would I say, something very familiar. So stories section. And let's say we have a dev class name. We call the first row, we say landscape left row. Okay, because that first row has a landscape picture on the left. This one has one on the row, this one doesn't have anything, and this one has one in the middle, and this one doesn't have anything either. Okay, so here we're going to say left, and how many rows do I have? I think about 5. So I said here we have it on the right. Here we have no landscape row, and then here we have landscape in the middle, and then at the end we have another no landscape row, pun intended. Okay, and what we're going to do with that is this. So I'm going to say in each row we have certain tiles, correct? Certain tiles. So let's say we do this. We say Giphy tile like this. And then let's make the Giphy tile inside of this component, so it's a little bit more visible what we're doing. And then we have to return something. We're going to say div class name tile. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, div class name, again, Giphy tile. And for now, we're just going to say tile. Okay, we're going to say tile. So let me see. For the first row, 3 tiles, 3, 4, 3, and then later also 4. So let's do it this way first. And okay, like this, 3. And then this one also has 3. This one has 4. This one has 3. And this one also has 4. Okay, so whoop, like that. 3, 3, 4, 3, 4, like this. Okay, and let's see what happens if we're gonna look. Oh, we got all them tiles. Hey, that's good. That's a good sign. Everything got implemented well. Okay, so let's start making the styling of this. So let's start off with the left row, where the landscape is at the left row, and it's quite specific, this, so keep up. Okay, so display grid, and then grid template columns, and this one's very specific. 550 pixel, 265 pixel, and 265 pixels. Then we have a gap of 10 px, and then a margin bottom of 10 pixels. Okay, so that's the first one. Let's see what happens. Boom! Does anybody see something? This one takes up all of the space until here, and then we have 2 smaller pictures. Some big picture, small, small. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with the next. We're going to say landscape right row. Now we're going to say it a little bit differently, and that's also to show you guys different ways of writing with CSS grid. So grid template, and now we're going to say one fraction, two fractions, and by the way, it's columns. So now I'm saying, okay, the first two are just two small pictures, and the second one is a bigger picture. Okay, one fraction, like this. And then of course we have the gap and the margin bottom. Then we have the no landscape row. Okay, display grid of course. And here we have something else. We have something with a repeat, which is, if you write it this way, one fraction 4 times repeat is actually the same if you would write one fraction but then 4 times, but then you don't need to do that. Okay, so now this is sufficient, and also it has the gap 10px and the margin bottom. And oh, it's starting to look like something, right? You guys can see here, you can see the rows starting to form. So landscape middle row, also a display grid of course, and here we're gonna say, we're gonna use that fraction thing. So we're gonna say grid template columns, one fraction, two fraction, one fraction, and of course this too. So oh, now that we have all the rows, and now it doesn't make any sense, but so this is like this. Okay, so awesome. Now this Giphy tile, we don't want to show this text, right? We want to show a Giphy image. And remember, through media we got that Giphys array, correct? So here we're going to say Giphys array hello, and we can do this. So every time a Giphy comes up, we can say Giphy get Giphy from that array. Okay, like this. So let's make that one at the top here, get Giphy. And of course, again, we don't want the same Giphy all the time, right? We want to have a random Giphy from that Giphys array. So here, let's create a random index. Okay, math.floor, math.random. And in this case, by the way, with this formula, it is good to use it, but you also have to know how many things you can choose from. So in this case, just to be sure, it's 31 only, so 0. And then here we're going to say return a random Giphy. Random Giphy is equal to Giphys array bracket random index, like this. Okay, and then we're going to say, hey, if we do have that random Giphy, if it's good, then return it. Okay, like this. Awesome. Now, so we get the Giphy here, and the Giphy is being passed as a prop. So now we can abstract it from here, and then we can show it here. So let's see if we can just show a Giphy. Okay, like this. Just show if we can see a title or something. Oh, we can have one Giphy here. That's cool. We can have one Giphy. Okay, so that works. We're passing in Giphys. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna copy this. Boom, like that. And I'm gonna select, oops, not all of it, but from the second one. I'm gonna select all of it. And I'm gonna say boom, and then close it like this. Awesome. Now if I do this more like I did before, then I would get all kinds of Giphys. However, that's not what we want, right? We want to first start off with the title like I did before. So say like this, Giphy title, okay? And we want to show an image, which is Giphy. And we can do this one a little bit different. Yeah, because it's a little bit long also to do that here. I want to show you guys a different one. I say let Giphy a URL, and then if Giphy is here, then say Giphy.images show Giphy.images downsize.url like this. And that's just a different way of doing things. In case it is not here, just don't show anything. Just do this. Okay? And then here you can say Giphy URL, just to show a different way of how to do things. Now, let's see how this looks like. Oh. Hey, let's go. Let's go. We got them Giphys. We got them Giphys, but it doesn't look the way we want it, of course, but we're gonna fix that in a moment, okay? So what we're gonna do here is what we're gonna do here first is this. Let's fix that image. Okay, let's fix the height of the Giphy tile, by the way, because that's not correct, of course. So Giphy tile, let's first fix the Giphy tile and then the image, okay, like we've done before. So let's give this a height, a fixed one of 280 pixel, and let's see first how this goes. If you do that, it will change. Yeah, some things will already look better, but there's a lot of overflow here. So overflow hidden, okay, like this. Ooh, that's starting to look better, although Giphy tile, is there something changing? Oh, overflow hidden. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna say Giphy tile, Giphy tile image. Now we're targeting the image, so now it's gonna look way better than we had before, with 100%, of course. Is it starting to look like something or what, guys? Let me grab some water, by the way, because I'm thirsty. Hey, let's go. So here, awesome, we got this, okay? So also, let's change the aspect ratio because it's not always very... Ooh, it's starting to look like something. Okay. And let's give it a border radius. You guys might not see that from very far, but 4 pixel, 4 pixel, 0 pixel, 0 pixel. Okay, awesome. Hey, does this look good or what? Does this look good or what? Now, you might be thinking that text is great, but it's not really, it's not really working because here the text is like at the bottom, right? And it's shorter. So let's do that. Let's do something about that, okay? So this text, we're going to put that inside of a class name, and we're going to say this text tile, okay? And we're going to put the Giphy title inside of there, okay? And what we're going to do is, when you work with something like that, when you want to position something, you always need to work with relative positioning and absolute positioning, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to say here with the Giphy tile, we're going to say position relative. And then with the text, we have to do something else. We have to say, we have to position that absolutely. Okay, so here, let me see, position, so text tile, position, absolute, and you'll see it changing immediately, boom. Hey, it is inside of the image now, inside of the Giphy tile, okay, where the image is, and now bottom 5 pixel, like this. Hey, and then from the left a little bit more, 10 pixel. Let's go. You see that? Doesn't this look cool? Doesn't this look clean? It looks so much cleaner. Look, the spacing, everything lined up. There's the grid gap of 10 pixels is here. Doesn't this look awesome? I think so. I think so. I think this is pretty cool. Okay? I think this is pretty cool. It deserved that. Okay? So here we got this now. We got this now. We got this. So this is pretty cool, right? This looks really good. Let's look at the code though, because this is a little bit much. Don't you think? It's a little bit much. So we can do something about this actually. It has to do with these classes. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna make a config. Okay, we're gonna make a config, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna say const grid Giphy config, which is an array, by the way. And in this array, we'll have different kinds of arrays. So let me show you what that's gonna be. So we're gonna say this. Do I have all of them? Yes, I do. Then I'm gonna copy all of this. So I got 5 rows here. I'm gonna copy this. And here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here I'm gonna say Shift Option. I'm gonna drag my cursor down. Boom, I'm gonna copy it in, put everything inside of a, oh, not bracket, array, okay, like this, comma, whoops, oh, comma, and then I'm gonna put a comma behind it, and then here, I'm gonna say 3, I think this is also 3, 4, 3, 4, and that means this is the class. And this is the amount of Giphy tiles that we want to do. Because guess what? We're going to loop through it. Okay? We're going to loop through things. And it's going to make the code a lot shorter. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to make some space here. And then comment this out. Okay? And then here we're going to say grid Giphy. Well, Giphys actually. Git Giphys. So let's put an S here. Config.map. And then watch this, guys. You can say array layout class, comma, num tiles. And guess what? This way you're extracting from that thing you're mapping through, you're extracting the first value and the number of tiles. Cool, right? And then here, what we're gonna do is, after this, we still need the index. So we're gonna say index, and then after that, we're gonna say arrow function and make our way into the world like this. Okay, let's see. And then what here we have to return something, of course. But what do we have to return, huh? What do we have to return? Well, we have to return a few tiles, actually. And those tiles consist of Giphy tiles. So what we can do is we can say const tiles, and those tiles actually should be something where you're pushing the Giphys into. Okay, so let's make a function for that. Let's say create tiles, and with the tiles, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna say num tiles. We're gonna pass in a number. And here what we're going to do is this. We're going to say create tiles. Oh, whoops, that's a function. Create tiles. And here is the num tiles that you just passed in. And then we're going to make it very easy for ourselves. Okay, we're going to say for loop let I is 0. I is going to be running up until the amount of num tiles, because that's how many Giphys you want to put in. And then we say I++, boom. And then we're gonna return every time we're gonna have the Giphy tile. Okay, the Giphy tile, and we're gonna pass in the Giphy. Okay, get Giphy. And we're also gonna give it a key, which is in this case, we can just give it as I. Now, if you run this, nothing will happen because the Giphy tile is going through it. But what is being returned, right? So what we have to do is we have to set an empty array here at the top. And then here, we're going to push that, the Giphys, how many times we're iterating, we're pushing that every time inside of that array of tiles, because push function always puts things at the end of the array, right? And then guess what? Once we're done looping with that, we want to return this tiles that's been filled up with all of those Giphys and just say return tiles like that. Now, what we got to do here, of course, here we got to give that back. We got to return that. But guess what? Does this look familiar? We have the landscape left row, and then we have the tiles. We have this class here, then we have the tiles. So we have the layout class here. What we're going to do is layout class like this, okay? And we're also going to give that div the key like this, okay? And we have to close it off with a div. And inside of here, boom, tiles. Hey, let's go. So let's see if correctly, there should be no errors, and that means it would work. So let's refresh this. It's being refreshed. It's still here. Oh my God, guys. Look at all the code we can remove. Boom, pow. Let's go. But I really wanted to show you guys this because it's so important. Once you see how you can do things, how you can simplify it later, that's way more valuable than me just showing you this solution and then you have a hard time, you know, building that yourself because you don't know what is the more difficult way, let's say. Okay, so boom, awesome. Now, guys, now that we have really clean code, we still want to make this look a little bit prettier, right? We still want the borders and the hover. So let's go into that, okay? Bear with me. This is the last part, for real, okay? So now that we're here, we're going to make the borders. So the borders, I can actually see that is like a box of lines, correct? And that is actually below the Giphy tile. So let's just close this one. If I would close this one, I would say div class name line box. Okay, and I make it very simple, right? Because we have different colors here. I don't know how to make this at first, so I'm just gonna say div class name, and I have 3 lines here, line, top, and I'm gonna choose the color purple. Surprise, okay? And here I'm gonna say I'm gonna say middle, and here I'm gonna say bottom. Okay, and what happens with that is I can do this. I can say here in my CSS, I can say line top purple. I can give it a background color. This color, background color of this purple, like this. 9933FF. If you go to the Git templates, if you Git cloned it, all the colors are there in the styles.txt, okay? And I can give it a height of 6 pixels. Boom. Let's see how that looks. Oh, that's a nice purple line, isn't it? Yeah, so I can also do that for the middle line, the middle purple line, like this. Okay, the difference with the middle purple line is only that the height is the same, but what I do is I say margin left 10 pixel and I say margin right 10 pixel. Okay, so oh, look at that. And of course you can write this different ways also, okay, but this is okay. So here, this is the bottom one. And also, again, the colors are inside of the Git template, okay? See a link in the description below. And by the way, guys, also join the webinar next week Okay, look at the description. Friday 4 March, 11 a.m. PST. I'm going to be giving that webinar. It's totally free. You can come in there. We'll have fun and we'll talk about coding, and I can teach you some things more. Okay, so please join and text to the number in the description. Now we have these lines, and look at that. Looks cool or what? I love the color purple, but you guys knew that. Okay, so looks cool or what? But we don't have different colors. And if you look here, if I would refresh the app, this app, I would get different Giphys, but I also get different colors borders every time I do that, right? So let's see how we can do that. And you guys have been familiar with this. We've already done this before, right? We can randomize something. So let's do that, okay? Let's say, let's call a function. Let's say here. Let's go here and say, let color borders, and say get colored borders and make a function. Okay? And make it here, and then const get colored borders. Of course, it has some data on the colors, which is const colors purple, okay? And then it has sunshine, it has blue purple, and it has turquoise, okay? Turquoise. Now, what you can do, of course, you can use this function again. This one, the random index, but instead of 31, you only want to say 4 here because you only got 4 colors to, pick randomly, right? So 4, and then here we say return colors bracket random index. So every time it will pick either purple, sunshine, blue purple, or turquoise. Okay, and now that we have colored borders, what do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use the ticks. Okay, I'm gonna use the ticks. So I'm gonna say this tick, boop, and then I'm gonna remove purple, $, brackets, and then I'm gonna say color borders, like this. And now that I've done this, actually, only certain images will have purple because those got picked purple, but the other ones didn't because I don't have that in my CSS yet. Okay, but this is a sign that it works. So look at your CSS, look at the Git templates, there are the colors, but you can make also different colors yourself. Make sure it goes from light to dark because that is what gives that effect, right? So, and let me show you another trick, by the way, a really cool trick. Okay, so I'm going to copy this one in. Let me, by the way, show you something. So let me refresh this first. Oh, we got all the colored borders. Let's go. Oh, damn. Let's show. This is so cool. Is this cool or what? I love it. I love it. So here, now that we have this, guys, it's not the end of it, okay? So here, go to extensions, and as you can see, I got an extension called Color Highlight. Okay, Color Highlight. It's phenomenal, okay, Color Highlight. And this extension is the one that you see here that makes the colors exactly of, is not the only thing it can do. Okay, let me copy this one, this color. It's not the only, you can also change it and then just let it go. Whoop, and then it just changes like that. Okay, and that's not the only thing it can do. It can also, if you do this and you click upon here, you can get different values which represent that color, which is awesome. Like RGB, hex. Some people rather work with this or this. That's so cool. Plus, it makes it really easy. If I'm here, if I know this was my previous color, I would just, paste that again here and just pick a darker or a lighter color, right? Because that's what we want to achieve here. let me grab that color back. Okay, so whoop, like this. Awesome, let's go. So color highlight, definitely recommend installing that. Okay, so awesome, we got this. We still have one thing to do, and that is we should make the overlay. Okay, the overlay. Now you might be thinking, where should the overlay be? Because if we look here, the overlay reacts when I hover over the image, right? And what is the overlay actually? The overlay is a gradient, but it doesn't have a back color. So if you go to the gradient here, as you can see here, for example, if you remove this color or you make it white, I believe, wait, or no, you can go like this. And actually you see it here already, this orange doesn't even count. This turquoise here is already transparent. So that's how you can make a background like this, actually, okay? So, I mean, sorry, like this in the real app. That's the only thing we still need to do, guys. That's why it's not working here yet. So the overlay, it is on the Giphy tile. Okay, so let's make it here. Let's say div class name. And let's say overlay. But the overlay is the same color as the borders. So let's just not use this. Just say immediately do this. And then say overlay dash, you know it, dollar color borders. And I'm missing something here. Hey, let's go. So let's try it out first with one color. Okay, that's always the best approach to take. So let's say overlay purple. Okay, and overlay purple. And this one, what we want to do is we want to show that now. We don't want to think about what to do when hovering. Okay, we just want to have that overlay. So what we're doing is we know, for example, that it has to be at the bottom. So you have to position it, right? So we're going to use in the position absolute here because we know that our parent, the Giphy tile at the top, already has position relative. So the parent always has relative, the child always has absolute, you know? So then here we, of course, we have that background color, that green, that purple layover, like this, okay? And let's position it because now we don't see it, okay? So bottom, left 0, right 0, okay? Height, let's do 100%, okay? Overflow hidden, and that's it for now. So, hey, let's go. So on the purple one, it is working right now. It is working right now. However, we don't want it to work all the time. So we only want this one to come up when we hover over it. So what does that mean? That means, when it's active, it should not show. When we hover over it, it should show, right? And now it's already showing. And that's because of the height of 100%. So when we make this 0, it's not showing. It's not going to show. It's going to disappear. Okay? So what we got to do is we got to decide when is it going to show. So we say Giphy tile. When we hover over the Giphy tile, show us the overlay purple class. And the overlay purple, oh no, not show us, I mean change properties of the overlay purple class from 0 height to a height of 100%. You see that? So before I made this 100% to already show you guys, but now we only want it to be shown when we hover over the Giphy tile. So this means if we hover over the Giphy tile, change the properties of this class, which is give it a height of 100%, right? And if you check it out, hey, let's go. We have it on hover. Okay, awesome. So guys, now you can imagine we just have to do that for the rest too. And it's just a matter of all the properties are the same, it's just the colors are different. Okay, the colors are just different. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay, so make sure you have all of those. I'm gonna paste it in here. And you can find all the colors and things also in the Git template. So now that I have this, let's see. Purple worked, we knew that. Hey, the blue also works. The blue, the yellow too, and the turquoise. Woohoo! Oh my god, it looks good. It looks so good. Awesome, guys. It looks so good. It looks so good. Now, guys, I think this was it. This was the Giphy website. Okay, we've been coding almost for 3 hours. Okay, let me know if you have any questions, if you've made this build. Thank you so much for coming to my first YouTube live. So it was so cool to do this, and definitely, build it, tweak it, design some things more, and definitely show me either through Instagram, YouTube, or whatsoever. Show me what you made. Okay, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.